All right, so today we are doing a review on the Acer Aspire 3, which is the model number A317-53-31k7. So let's go ahead and jump into this video. So starting off with the price, I only found this on Best Buy. I'm sure you could probably find it on a bunch of other platforms if you absolutely needed to find this exact model. I got this from Best Buy. It was $529.99. Now, if you have the Best Buy app, which is actually how I purchased this, it was actually on a deal for the day. So I got it for like, I think $319 or $309. So I actually got a pretty decent deal. Now, if you've come to this video for specific answers, just follow along with me. But if you want to get down to the nitty gritty, if you don't want to watch this entire episode, just go ahead and know that this is a pretty decent laptop if you can get it on deal. That's just my opinion, but let's go ahead and dive into the specs. Now, this comes with the Intel 11th Gen Core i3-1115 G4 dual core processor, which is a 3 gigahertz. It also has an internal storage of 256 gigabyte SSD, which there is an optional second port if you wanted to upgrade or add more storage. I actually took the, I believe it was Crucial from the Acer Aspire 1 video that I did up here, and I put that into this laptop. It also comes with Windows 11, the 64-bit version. This comes with 8 gigabytes of DDR4 RAM, which is upgradable up to 20 gigabytes. There is only one slot that I had found, which I put a 16 gigabyte DDR4 stick in. So just keep that into consideration if you wanted to upgrade this. The only real options for upgrading are the RAM and the internal for SSD, or adding an extra SSD to that. Now, this does also have internal UHD graphics, and honestly, they're really not the best. You can play some games on it. I would assume that any sort of first-person shooter that has like a high frame rate probably isn't going to work, but like I play Plants vs. Zombies and like Forge of Empires on it, so I think you should be able to get around that. This also has 3 USB ports. One is a 2.0 and the other 2 are 3.2 Type A ports. There is also one HDMI port. So I actually use this laptop specifically for my job. I bring this to and from work every day. I have a color grading monitor that I hook into this when I absolutely need to color grade correctly. This also has a headphone input jack, which is nice for people that still use wired headphones, although there is Bluetooth, so you can Bluetooth some wireless headphones to it if you need to. The display is 17.3 inches. It is an LED display at 1920 by 1080, so basically a 1080 display. And the estimated battery life from Acer is 7 hours. We will go ahead and get into that here in a little bit. And if any of you were interested as far as the Wi-Fi goes, it is Wi-Fi 5 or 802.11 AC. This also has 2 speakers that are loud, but also kind of weak. There really isn't a whole lot to them. I would assume if you're pretty good with internals and you wanted to upgrade them to something a little bit better, you probably could, but what are you gonna do? Now, as far as the functionality goes, this laptop is absolutely huge.
That's a huge bitch!
So don't expect to use this in any sort of a small space. As far as using this, it's great for surfing the web, watching YouTube videos, editing photos and videos, and we'll go ahead and get into that in a little bit. I use Lightroom and Photoshop on this constantly, and I have absolutely no issues with either one of those. And I would assume that you could probably play some games on this. As far as the benchmark goes, I'm gonna go ahead and run one of those and pop some of that up here on the screen for you guys right now. Now, I want to say this first and foremost as far as usability goes. I use this for editing photos mainly for my job. I have tried to edit some videos with this, and I will tell you this, it is not fun. You basically have to generate optimized media, and I use DaVinci Resolve, so take that into consideration. Unfortunately, I don't have a subscription for Adobe Premiere, so I couldn't tell you how Adobe Premiere runs on it. But DaVinci Resolve is a little bit more taxing, so take that into consideration. Now, this has internal graphics, like I said, so if you wanted to play some games or something on it, I'm sure that you probably could get away with playing some very light games. Like I said, I mean, Plants vs. Zombies, some like 2D games like that. I don't think that any sort of like first person shooter or like action games or like role playing games would really work too well. So just take that into consideration. Now, like I said, I have tried to edit some videos with this, and for the most part, editing videos is a little taxing on this laptop. Now, I will say this much, as long as you're not trying to like color grade super heavy or adds any sort of effects or anything like that, you can get away with it. When I do use this to edit videos, what I will do is I will basically go ahead and put all the clips on my timeline. I will chop them up, put them in where they need to be, and then I will color grade each one and then export from that without having to color grade, go back and forth, and then try to play the video. Because honestly, once you color grade any footage, it is super, super taxing on this. So just take that into consideration. You could use it in a pinch, although I wouldn't say that if you were editing videos on a daily basis that this is going to be your go-to. Now, as far as the battery life goes, I want to go ahead and throw some of this information your way. So as far as the battery charging time goes, I went ahead and basically discharged it all the way down to 10%. So from 10% charged back up to 100% from the hours of 4:50 p.m. to 7:20 p.m. So basically 2.5 hours to charge it from 10% to 100%. Now the discharge battery life from 100 to 10%. So it was 8:11 p.m. to 12:05 a.m. So almost 3 hours of battery life. And basically all I was doing was surfing the web, checking emails, and watching videos on YouTube. That was it. I wasn't trying to edit any videos or edit photos or anything like that. So depending on how you're using this, the battery life may fluctuate. Like I said, I was running YouTube in the background while surfing the web, just looking at like camera parts and like guitar parts and stuff, and also checking like emails. Not that I had a lot of emails to check, but you know, just having like 3 or 4 different tabs open with videos and stuff running in the background. So there is also a battery saver option on this as well. So I did the same thing from 100% all the way down to 10% with the battery saver on. And that time ran from 11:24 a.m. to 3:15 p.m. So you got almost 4 hours total out of that with the battery saver on. So take that into consideration. Basically did the exact same thing with YouTube open, playing that, surfing the web, and doing all the other types of stuff. I do want to go ahead and mention this too. So going back to video and photo editing, I do want to mention this, that I use the SpiderX Pro to color calibrate my monitors. And I will say this much, that even after color calibrating the monitor on, or the screen on this laptop, I still couldn't get a super, super accurate like photo color calibration. That's why I said that I actually use this for work. I have a monitor specifically for color grading. I believe that was like an LG something. It was like a 24-inch. And that is actually 100% more accurate in terms of color calibration. So that's what I use an extra monitor. So take that into consideration. If you plan on picking this laptop up specifically for video and photo editing, while it may be taxing for video, you might want to consider just having an extra monitor, even if it's a small one. I have one in the back here, which is actually like a Walmart brand on monitor. I got it for like 89 or 99 bucks at Walmart. It was a 22-inch. And even that is more color accurate than this laptop. So just take that into consideration if you planned on picking this up to do any sort of like color grading or color correcting with photos and videos. You may also need or want to have a video, like a monitor for that as well. Now, as far as use case scenario goes, like I said, this is a giant laptop. So if you were sitting down on the couch, you don't really have a lot of lap room, this thing is gonna hang off the sides of your legs. I'm a pretty big guy, and even when I'm laying in bed or like sitting on a couch with this, it still feels massive to me. And I can't say this enough, that if you're looking for a laptop that is small and compact, this is not going to be the one for you. It's 17.3-inch screen, so I think maybe roughly just a little bit over 17.5. If you're looking at it diagonally, I mean, maybe even a little bit more than that. So it is a giant laptop. So take that into consideration. I will say this, it does everything that I mentioned very well besides video editing. If you were looking for an inexpensive laptop to game with, you might be able to use this if you upgrade the RAM. So like I said, I have a 16 gigabyte of DDR4. Like I said, I will run some benchmarks and I'll throw those into here too, so you guys can see those. If you're looking for a larger laptop because maybe you want to have a setup on your desk that maybe you are a photographer and you don't care, you just want to edit photos, then I think this may be an option if you can find it on deal. There is no SD card slot, which really sucks because why the fuck not? Why wouldn't you add an SD card slot? Because then you have to go out and you have to buy a little dongle. Acer, if you guys ever see this video, for the love of Christ, put SD card slots in your laptops. I don't think it would have taken up that much room. My Acer Aspire one in 2013 had one. So take that into account. Anyways, if you guys have any questions, go ahead and feel free to drop them in the comments. I will answer them to the best of my ability. If you guys like this video, go ahead, give it a thumbs up, give it a like. If you didn't like this video, also give it a thumbs up. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit all the buttons. I'm Jordan, and I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.